Do you know your MCA?
Yes.
Don't even go there.
That's the thing
Yes.
we're talking
You're
about.
going too deep.
By
You're
the-
going too deep.
Tinashe, do you know one?
And your friends actually talk about politics and actually talk about the future.
Not really politics,
Aye.
national
The future,
interests.
yeah,
Not
national
politics,
interest.
national
The
interests.
future of this.
Me.
So you're not Raila versus Uhuru. You are.
Because
Yes.
what
We
I
have
know
a
about you
problem,
guys-
a systemic problem, and it must change.
For
yeah,
sure.
like
But
that.
true,
I
but
feel like
we are very
sometimes-
vocal.
I think-
For example, like us Gen Zs, like for example, like it was last week, I was seeing what was happening on the news. Like it made me angry, Mazio. Like, look at these people. They
that
use.
made you not take a voter's card, right?
Thank you.
No, I have a voter's card.
Do you know there are 6 million of you who are thinking the same and you're not taking voters cards?
That's why.
6 million of you.
Actually,
6
I think what I
million.
heard was out of 6,400 and something
be so
thousand ones registered, out of
6
my last election,
million.
voted it.
Gen Z versus Millennials. This is the episode that we are having today, and I would love everybody to introduce themselves.
Yeah, karibuni sana. Thank you very much. My name is Ibrahim Awia and I'm a woke millennial.
Hi guys, I'm Charles Arnold. I'm a very proud millennial.
Hi, I'm Patricia, Lion King Millennial.
Hey people, my name is George Mosby, and I'm a passionate Gen Z. Yo.
Hi guys, my name is Naomi Seko and I'm a brown-haired Gen Z.
Hi, I'm Tinashe. I'm a tall Gen Z.
It's not that tall. Anyway. Hi, my name is Hope Seko. And I have dyed hair and I'm a Gen Z.
Now, my question for you is, do you think the other side had it tougher growing up?
Can you let the lady start?
Yes, sir.
I won't say hard. I think, in comparison to our side, these guys have a disconnect in terms of the internet. I grew up with my mom. We had conversations. Mom, what do I do when I need to do? What I ask questions and she'd answer me. These guys, you just wake up, go to their phone, type. You get home. We used to come home and have dinner together, stuff like that. These guys just go and lock their room. I think you guys have it. I just feel like there's a disconnect. I won't set up.
I don't think that's necessarily true, because from your point of view, we had it tough. We had it easier to the extent where you had to go and ask your mom questions about certain things. We have to do that too. It doesn't mean that now that the internet exists, we don't engage in conversations with our parents and we don't do all that. But from my view, I feel like you guys had it tougher to some extent.
It's betraying
No,
us. Like
it's-
how you just
Just come on. I said it wasn't
Had
easier from
one
what she
job.
said, but from the way our parents raised us, I feel like they've softened up from the way you guys were raised. Like,
Brutal.
like right now, I have an older sister, she's 26, and we have these conversations, and my mom lets me go out till whatever time, be it 11, 12, as long as she knows where I am. There's no
Yeah,
issue.
different
But let me
Wow.
tell you, when my sister was found outside at 7, she would be chunwad on her way back to the house. So that's my opinion on it. I feel like you guys had it tougher.
I think it depends on the parents.
Yeah.
I have had all that freedom in my life. I don't think there's a day I was actually asked who are you, or it was just like personal discipline. So I won't say those stuff. It depends on the parenting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Our problems are very unique from one generation to another, and we need to understand that what we are fighting. I feel like you guys, the problem, or let me say the challenge I have when dealing with millennials, I have a sister. I mean, Gen Z is high school right now, and I find that you have a lot of information to consume. I feel like what Patricia was saying, she's not saying you don't have family time. She's saying, for example, let me put it this way. There was a time joy used to be derived from anything but memes. And right now you're deriving, your system of joy is based on how many memes you have watched. And it validates you with your friends. Hey, have you watched this? Have you watched this? Have you watched this? So that, to me, triggers a question of, is that covering up the fact that, one, that you are a very stressed generation because you don't have enough, there's too much information for you to consume. Yeah. And us guys, we didn't have that information. So it feels like when we're around you, because you have been exposed, you may feel a little bit smarter than us. Us guys, we have a lot, we are smarter. These guys, they don't know too much. But it's a blind side because our focus is quality. Yours is not. That's how I feel.
It's millennial behaviors. They don't want us to speak.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know why Gen Z see us as competition, or you see us if it's a competition or something. And at the end of the day, it's not a competition, it's just a marathon, just a little bit ahead of you guys. And up to the day that we will understand that is because the question says tough. I'm just asking myself, what's the definition of tough? Is it tough socially? Is it tough politically? Is it tough economically? What's tough that we're talking about? Because just as we say, our problems are unique, but at the end of the day, our problems are just dropping down.
Or it's the same problem in a different animal, really. Yeah, in a different, yeah.
So I don't know why you guys see it as competition. But at the end of the day, we really, actually, for our generation, we are the bridge. We are the bridge between you guys, because you guys have so much information. We kind of have the information, but we really don't need it, because we saw how our parents and how our world is going. We see how you do. So I don't know.
I honestly have I've even forgotten the question now, but yeah, I think it was if it was harder. Oh yeah, because I think for Gen Z, for us, we are exposed to so much information. Like you said, we're getting influence from many different places, and it may not only be memes, and I feel like everyone's different. People scrolling 24/7. Some people like sports, basketball. I'm tall. I like basketball. People are different, and I feel like not everyone's the same. People have gone through so many different struggles. It depends with your parents as well. You see, our parents may have been different. Like my parents won't let me, latest is maybe 7 or
What?
Yeah. And it's
That's new.
yeah, it's not. I feel like it's different from it's where the environment you've grown up in, and the different areas of influence make it, because everyone's different, like I said. But yeah,
That is dope. That is cool. Thank you for those answers. Question number 2. Older generations create problems that younger generations have to solve. We will start off with the Gen Z because you are the younger generation in this conversation.
that's a tough one. But I don't know. I feel like I want to start.
No.
Mosby,
Take
you've
us.
been quiet.
Wise one.
No, I'm just thinking of different ways I could unpack this question, because I can answer this question in so many different ways. In what sense?
And my parents are
Socially,
watching, so
politically, what and
careful
what. There's so
what you're
many
saying.
factors to consider.
But I think, yeah, in terms of, it depends in what way. If we're to say, let's say, I lost my train of thought. Never mind, Mosby.
How should I put it? The older generation, these ones here,
Wow. We're not ancestors.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah.
You're close
Does
to that
it
bridge.
like
Ancient.
have
Close enough.
does it have to be them or them and other generations before them?
It's in, I think the question is both ways because they also have like older generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think to some extent that is true because I feel like every generation has its strengths and its faults and all that, and then we pick up the pieces from where certain things were left off. So do older generations kind of create problems that other generations generally have to solve? True. Do some problems take longer and take certain generations before like a result comes? True. But that doesn't necessarily like all the time that people are out there just trying to cause problems for other generations to just solve and all that. So yeah, to some extent, most problems, even if you did politically, socially, what started a very long time ago, even before them. And we are just experiencing, we have the same problems, but different kind of experiencing them in different ways. So certain things unfold in different ways. Like if we talk about like corruption in Kenya, we can date it back to such a long time ago. And now we're still experiencing the same problems, but in different ways right now. Yeah.
Millennials, do you agree with this answer?
All right. I think the best way to look at this would just be the internet. The internet is an invention of the millennials, by the way.
True.
Just saying. And
We made it
we're
better,
also
though.
brilliant.
We made
We
it
give
better
you your
though.
credit.
Yeah, well, anyway, the internet is an invention of our generation. And when you look at it like that, yes, it's true that older generations can cause problems for younger generations to deal with. But it's also true that older generations bring solutions for the next generation to enjoy. That's also true. So we have to balance that out. The question then, if you look at it generally again, does the older generation intentionally create problems for the younger generation? I wouldn't think so.
Yes.
I don't think we intentionally meant for you to. I feel like some of your problems are extremely unique. The things you guys are facing right now. Right now, one of the biggest statistics I saw in Kenya right now is how young people are struggling sexually. So talk about porn, masturbation, all that. Now, the environment is so sexualized. Yani, you get into a mat, what they're playing, the music you hear. So it's sort of like how a cactus grows in a desert naturally is how strongholds like masturbation, like porn, like they're growing, and that's something you guys are dealing with in such a major way that us guys, ilikuwa, nikupate na msichana, ende usome, we used to be told, for me it was hell on. I never thought about it. Was never something I entertained. Dad, I have a girlfriend. That's the same as saying, Dad, kill me. I'm scared. Yeah, I have never, never. It's not possible. So I feel like that's a problem. I would own up and say the internet, which is our invention, has created, and we have created that. But it wasn't, the intention of the internet was to disperse information, make lives more productive, not make them more, bad, terrible.
To add to what you said, I think the internet is like a two-edged sword, or anything good, or anything out here. It's how you use it. If it's the internet, if it's money, if it's alcohol, if it's all that stuff, it's how you use it. But to add to what you said, like pornography, I think that generation is actually okay to watch pornography, to masturbate. Then it's okay. As we say, we struggle with. These guys are okay with it. They openly say, by the way, me, I'm gay. By the way, me, I'm... In our generation, that was like a taboo, you get. So I actually think for them, they're being like, they're expressing themselves like, that's okay. You see these guys, they can wake up and say, as you could say, why should we go to school? Like, we are the Y generation. For them, I don't have to go to school if I can do this. You see the gap in between. Yeah.
But like I said, maybe in their homes, like mine, like I said, I think it's where you grow up, where like
So
like most of this is westernized, like culture.
So
but,
when
like,
you say when you grow up, I want you to speak. I feel like I want you to speak not based on your personal experience. I want you to speak like a spokesperson for your generation. Speak widely.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
could you tell your parents? I mean, growing up, could you tell your parents, "Oh, this is my boyfriend," and like openly?
Yes.
Really, when
Yes,
you're
I can.
growing up?
I'd
No, not now,
personally-
because like you're how old are you now?
21.
Exactly. I mean, like growing up, like in school.
Okay, so personally, I feel like I would talk to my mom about boys that I liked and what. But once I tell her I have a boyfriend, I've drugged it. I've drugged it.
Yeah, kind of. I think we've had a lot of conversations openly in my household. Like, I think my parents have normalized certain conversations to engage mentorship, and also so that certain things are not done in the dark and all that. Even if we have friends who are guys, my mom would always want to meet them, bring them to the house when she's there. She wants to see who you're hanging out with, because she realized, like, telling you not to do this and you go and doing it behind her back. She'd rather know who you're hanging out with, what you're doing, and encourage conversations that bring light also, that she can mentor you from and parent you from. So I think that's kind of the difference.
I don't think there's a difference. I think it's the relationship a parent has with their child. Because I personally, my mom and I were just like besties. I can tell her anything and everything. I can't be scared to tell her like I like this guy or stuff happen from a very young age. I can share with her with everything. But I even think in a generation or even other generations to come, there'll be families that kids can't talk to their parents about anything. Right now, if I need to know about sex, I'll go on the internet. Let me say if I'm from that large, like a random population. But let me say, there are parents who actually, like from a very long time ago, they could talk to their children. When you grow up, things will happen, stuff will happen.
For sure.
I think it's all about the relationship between a child and the parent when it comes to being a parent.
There's a point you said how the internet brought issues for a certain generation. I don't think it's just that one generation. I think it's for all of the generations. Because sex is even too, but it happened a lot of time. They were happening a lot of time. All these issues that are going on, they were happening. It's just that we didn't know about it, or there was no platform whereby people would know what's actually going on. So what now the internet have done to have given that platform whereby now we think for real. And this has affected their generation, our generation. Let's not forget also our parents who now understand, are now hearing. Because like for me, I never had such a relationship with my friends. That was talking. We have just started meeting it now. Because now you see, like people are actually doing this. Like people are actually being friends with their kids. I don't know if you guys were ever told, wazazi si marafiki na watoto. You get?
Up till today, I'm not friends with my dad.
Thank you very much.
We can be in the same environment, solve problems, blah blah.
They
We
hit
talk
you
about
with it.
anything when emotion.
But
Dad, I feel like
They hit you with the
Yeah.
I'm your parent, not your friend.
no, and it's not really. I'll hit. It's the atmosphere that's formed.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an abstinence. You guys are expressive. Sisi ilikuwa abstain. You guys are being taught about contraceptives. It's okay. What about CDs? The other ways. These guys were abstain.
You can be clean.
Yeah.
It's called queer, gender fluid.
Yeah.
all that stuff,
LGBTQ.
all the stuff. In our times, they would try and bring up that topic
They were happening. They're just not expressive. They're just not.
But we follow the trend from your generation. Like, for example, my older brothers, what they used to do in the house. Hi. Like, I used to see. I used to see, like, Jose, he comes at home by 10, my mom shouts at him, nothing happens. But now the difference, like, in our culture, a woman is not supposed to beat a man. Like, for example, like, even if he's the lawyer, like if the mother has given birth to male children, the woman is not supposed to beat. Like, that's how it is. So like we followed. So our generation, we were bold enough because of the power. They say knowledge is power. So that power has given us the boldness to come out and say, Mom, kuna dem I'm like. And you see, because of that power, I exercise it very well.
What interesting views these are. I love to hear them. Now, we have a question directed to the millennials. Do you guys think that the Gen Z is entitled?
Oh. Oh. You want me to start?
Ladies, Patricia?
Yeah.
Anything? Yeah.
It's time I start.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you guys are very much entitled, and it is good to some point, but it's also not good to some point, because you guys forget one thing. There's no day, I'm saying this straight, there's no day the neck will be above the head. Come rain, come shine, there's no day the neck will be above the head. Yes, this might sound a little bit cliche, but yes, because we've gone through some things, because of our age, we have, there's just a knowledge, there's just some things that we have. I can see how Hope is looking at me like, oh no you did. But yes, at the end of the day, you guys are really entitled. It is very good, because you speaking out will really solve a lot of issues that is going on. You speaking out will really conquer a lot of tribulations, if I may say, that we are going through in this generation and even the generations to come. Because even after you see this generation Alpha, that's a whole different other story. Yeah? That's a whole different story. Trust me. So I honestly believe that you guys are
Sounds so good.
I actually think they're very expressive. That's the type.
True.
These guys are so expressive. Like, if they don't like something, they'll tell you. If I don't want this food, I don't want it. I don't think that is being entitled. I think them, it's more of, let me give you the example. Why should I, like, us to ask our parents, why do you have to go to school? For them, what's the point of going to school? In terms of, if I can lie to the internet, what's the point? I don't know if you're getting my point.
So
I feel like you guys grew up in more of listen to what you're told and don't question.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
we want to know why. We want to.
We're
I don't
inquisitive.
know, yeah, exactly. And we won't just take it as it is. But okay, then of course there's other cases where you need to be a bit more like respectful of the way you do it. There's some that don't, and then there's some that will inquire, but like in a good,
really
respectful
deep,
way.
Yeah.
If the Roman Empire was one of the biggest empires in the world, you're wondering what does this have to do with Gen Z versus millennials? The Roman Empire was one of the biggest empires in the world, and they became so comfortable that the next generation, they were so the reason the Roman Empire was dethroned as a worldwide superpower was because they birthed a generation that got whatever they wanted. Truth is, right now, this is with everything, with COVID, with the economic meltdown. Check what research scientists say. This is the best time in civilization to live. I promise, you guys are not the Flintstones and what not.
Do you know the Flintstones?
But, yeah, you see.
But neither were you guys.
God, wow, that's an
Neither were
internal
you
joke.
guys. so-
Wow. Anyway, my point. I feel like, while I feel like this is not I feel like it's blindsided. I might not be 100% right, but I really do think you're entitled. I do.
Entitled in what way?
And let me say why you're entitled. I feel like all those, you see, all the adjectives you said were expressive. I feel like those are just camouflages for being entitled. For me, the definition of entitlement would be I deserve something because I belong to a certain group. I deserve it. I've not done anything, but just because I align or I associate or I identify with a certain group of people, then I deserve it. And why I'm saying I might be a little bit subjective on this bias is because I've seen it firsthand with my sis. So I live with my younger sister and take her to high school and whatnot. The other day something happened in the house, normal. So gas ran out, right? Gas ran out normal, so we're supposed to go and get gas, right? So Gus ran out, she's like, just go and get another one. It's like they're plucked on trees. It's like, no, yeah. It's like, yeah, just go and get another one.
Thank you.
I feel like the processes of getting things, you've not understood that.
You don't want to trust the process.
Yeah, so you guys are all about, this is not here, bring the solution. This is not here,
How
bring
old
it.
is
This
she?
is not here, bring
How
it.
old is she?
So I feel like the process behind solving problems has not been fully understood by you guys. And part of that would be, for example, when you say, hey, I don't have to go to school, I can learn it on the internet. You're not missing the knowledge of school, but you're missing the interaction. You're missing growth that comes by playing with people in the field, with fights. That's what you guys are missing. So missing that then means you become so pain intolerant. You want things without actually having to go through the process. Yeah, I do think
1,000
so.
today, 10,000 tomorrow,
No.
100,000.
I mean, but we said we're inquirers. We didn't say we don't want to go to school. We want to know why.
Why?
Is shit. Okay, not
I
even.
actually think both
Come
as
to school and
millennials
find out why.
Gen Z, we are the why. We ask why. But you guys have left the why. If you don't give me the why, like if you don't answer my why, I won't do it. That's the difference between you and us. After the why and your parent pains you, and visa come and nanny, you will stay there like, no, I need to know why. That's the difference between us.
Like if I tell a Gen Z right now, it's a school trip to Tanzania, hey, you're not going. I don't have the cash right now. I'm suddenly a bad parent. No, I'm suddenly not raising my kids right. Yeah, I should be jailed. They should be taken into protective custody because of. I feel like, to an extent, there are problems that have to be solved in time, and you have to allow us together to solve those problems. That need for instant gratification. That's what I'm calling entitlement, and I feel like you have it.
I think we, in kind of entitlement, I would kind of agree that there's a lot of us are entitled without realizing that we are. But also, I feel like a lot of us, not necessarily entitled in a bad way, but also advocate for so much change and want certain things to change. Have you ever grown up, like there are certain things like you were told, like you're asking, you're questioning about like certain corruption, what happens here and here. Your parents are like, it's just the way it is. But we're like, why can't that change? Why can't, like right now, the biggest activists, all of them come from Gen Z. Look at the biggest, look at the person who's challenging in terms of environment and Greta. At what age did she start? Around like 14? Yeah?
Younger.
Like around like 14 and stuff.
Okay.
And then she is making an
No,
impact.
I feel like you're right. You're right that in terms of you guys are, you have that activism, but I think that's a really big statement when you say the biggest activists.
Most of them, like even if you look at the biggest things that are happening, like the in America during Corona, most of the Black Lives Matter protests, most of them were done by the Gen Z people. Most of the organizations.
You never
right
saw
now,
any old men,
old
or
men
like,
and all that.
you know,
Most
working
people are going
men.
like
Millennials don't
backwards.
understand. If I stood with
Okay,
you guys
not-
right
not-
now, you can't see TV, you just can't see someone on TV and say it's Gen Z.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can't,
yeah,
you
but
can't
like-
automatically
Go to
assume.
TV first of all.
As in, you can't just
it's not necessarily how
Most-
it's social media platforms. Like
Just
remember
because-
Blackout Tuesday
Yeah,
and all and
Just because we're
certain.
not there with you on the ground.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
That-
necessarily mean that you guys are not a part of it. It just means that there's something like what's it called? Remember Sudan, the thing where everyone changed their profile picture to like what country was that?
I don't know. But-
Whatever. Everyone you
guys
opened
actually
the
like
Nini.
changing a profile
No.
picture.
The Nini.
I mean,
where
no, but
everything
we're
was
doing
like blue.
something.
We're
It
doing
was doing
something to
something.
shift.
It was doing something. It was more about passing down information about what is happening in different countries, because there are people. There was a person, I don't remember what the situation was, but like cameras were not being allowed and information was not being allowed out of this country, so people around the world didn't know. So like the way people changed profile pictures and getting other people to change profile pictures, more people were getting educated. Like you're asking, hey bro, why is everyone's profile picture like blue all of a sudden and stuff like that? I think we've become also more conscious, not just by what is happening in our country. You get depressed, honestly, thinking about everything's everything that is going on different levels and different countries. Today you're posting about somebody who's been shot in America. Tomorrow you're seeing which country is falling. Tomorrow you're on a meeting online trying to ally yourself with Israel or Palestine and all these things. You're hearing people how many people on your timeline are going live, your friends, educating other people on different protests and whatever of things that are also being done locally for other countries. Most of these things I've seen are coming from mainly Gen Z people.
And then you have to go to school and do a physics test.
Okay, I sort of agree with what Hope has said, but to some extent I disagree, because it doesn't mean that if our millennials don't post it on the internet, they're not talking about it or raising awareness about what is necessarily happening. And I don't disagree with your point, but I also don't agree with the biggest, what I don't remember what you said, are coming from Gen Z, because maybe that's what we're seeing and we're not seeing what's happening over on the other side.
I haven't necessarily.
You're above 18, right?
Yes.
Do you have a voter's card?
Yeah.
I was going there.
Do you
I
have a
was
voter's
going
card?
there.
I think that boils down. I think you did what
I
you're
was
saying.
going
If
there.
you can't have a voter's card, why? Look, let me ask you. Why don't you have one? If you don't have one, just one.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Why? And it has been a long period. Of
Okay, General, do you know your MCA?
Yes.
Don't even go there.
That's the thing
Yes.
we're talking
You're
about.
going too deep.
By
You're
the-
going too deep.
Tinashe,
How many
do you
of
know one?
And your friends actually talk about politics and actually talk about the future.
Not really politics,
Aye.
national
The future,
interests.
yeah,
Not
national
politics,
interest.
national interests.
The future of this.
Me.
So you're not Raila versus Uhuru. You are.
Because
Yes.
what
We
I
have
know
a
about you
problem,
guys-
a systemic problem, and it must change.
For
yeah,
sure.
like
But
that.
true,
I
but
feel like
we are very
sometimes-
vocal.
I think-
For example, like us Gen Zs, like for example, like it was last week, I was seeing what was happening on the news. Like it made me angry, man. Like, look at these people. They
That
use.
made you not take a voter's card, right?
Thank you.
No, I have a voter's card.
Do you know there are 6 million of you who are thinking the same and you're not taking voter's card?
That's why.
6 million of you.
Actually,
6
I think what I
million.
had was out of 6,400,000 and something
Don't be so
thousand ones registered, out of
6
from our last election,
million.
voted 18.
You're all okay. It's a form of revolution, yes, but you're all just the one. You're like, nah, you don't want to trust the process.
Well done to the
But
micro-
first
I
of
mean,
all,
I'm barely.
Who said-
preach the gospel to us, make us understand. Why
I
should
think-
we do this? Like we are inquisitive. Why should we elect you?
I think that's a really good
It's not
question.
about
like
Exactly.
it's
no.
not
Why
about-
should we elect
That's a
you?
solution.
Who's
Yeah.
It's
there
not
was-
about
there was-
electing who or who. It's about you having, like, if you don't like, let me give you an example. Perhaps the people who are buying right now, I may not like any of them, right? But if I have a voter's card, and if someone else comes and I actually appeal to what he's saying, that makes it different. Have someone I can vote for. But you can't tell me you want change, but you're not even concerned about the country's politics. You're not concerned about economics. You're not concerned about. You get my point?
But I may think what you've asked is extremely valid.
Exactly.
And why I'm saying it's valid is because of what you said. We are suffering from systemic problems, and you guys are like, you've been having voters cards and we've been having corruption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
What's
yeah,
next?
we've been, so yeah, and I feel like that's a valid worry. What I'm trying to say is, I feel like you should. We also want to change the system. I want you to understand that it's not only you guys
And
who are
that's
activists.
that's one thing I wanted to say. I started my statement by saying I know millennials are doing something, like it might not be in the same way that we are doing something, but the sense of like we're just sitting back and being entitled and not act. That's the point I wanted to come across.
I feel like
and not
we're viewed
acting out
as-
change
yeah.
and not doing something and not advocating for different things. Like last year at the beginning before school period, the system figured out like how 844 kids are going to go to school and stuff like that. We had a whole forum about Kenyans being intelligent, called Kenyans are intelligent, and we had young kids educating other people about politics, about different things, police brutality. You remember all the videos we even did in terms of police brutality. We even did a blackout Tuesday for Kenya, not just George Floyd, whatever was going on in America, because of the shootings that were happening in Kenya due to the rise in violence because of curfew and these people enforcing it, but with like too much force and what and taking out lives. We are also concerned about these certain things. It's just that people think because, like I remember having a conversation with my parents, and they were asking me, and they were talking about like Raila and Ruto, whoever is vying, and I was like, I was not going to vote. You must vote. I'm like, you guys have been consistently voting. you're voting for these people, you're still putting these people into power. You're not holding them accountable in any kind of way. Most of these people are not holding them accountable in any kind of way. It's either worse or
Even
much
more
more worse in terms of.
That wasn't my point. My point was, I don't like the leaders that are out there.
Mhm.
But if I want to change them, other people have to come up, right? But
For
if
sure.
I can't go vote, what's the difference? There's no difference between you and us. If you say you are the people who are most active, right? Like the most activists, right? That's what you say. And they asked you a question if you have voters card. I thought that would actually intertwine when you say if you are more of activists, then you go and
No,
buy.
why I didn't even answer the question about
Stuff like
voters.
that.
No, voters cards is because I just got my ID. I just turned 18. Remember, Gen Zs, not all of them are 18
But
and
as a
above.
spokesperson for the Gen Zs who are over 18,
That's
we
why
would
I asked
actually
you
say
I
that
have-
over 6 million of you guys don't have voters card.
It is because preach the
even
gospel
say-
right. Make us
make the change.
like make us believe.
I think generally this should be. I think the main problem with there's the passing of information between generations, the education process and all that. Because you see, there's one thing to constantly see nothing changing, and then there's another thing for people to now be sitting down. Okay, you guys have voted before, right? So you guys should be having conversations with us guys on the importance of voting, not just like me in my house. It was like you must vote. And you must vote for this person. You guys, it was not a conversation about how we're going to change 1, 2, 3.
Sure. Okay.
I have something
What
to
an
add.
interesting direction this conversation took. Has been amazing. Gen Z versus millennials. I am so happy no hands were thrown. And I am so happy
We're
that we were
close.
able to lose
No
one
house.
ground and come to an agreement. We shall definitely have a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, part 10 on this. So till next time, I think it is a wrap.